Chance of Garage again. I'm Chance. More junk. Got drug home today. I have a Yamaha TTR 125. It's pretty rough. Apparently it was in a flood. And is now locked up. So, I mean, we're not into it for a whole lot of money, but we're not starting with a whole lot either. So we're gonna unload it out of the truck and try and free it up and then do wheelies or something. All right, so let's see what we bought. I didn't ask a whole lot of questions. I mean, it's froze up. Flood 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. I don't know the whole story. The plug was out of it when I got it. It was in gear. I was able to shift it out of gear, so hopefully the transmission's not all froze up. It sounded like he'd done a little bit, maybe some Marvel, but not super aggressive on trying to get this thing freed up. But in general, the plastics, they're not all beat up. Well, I say that. Not as bad as they could be. I've got the side covers, hopefully all the pieces. We'll just start hosing things down and pulling off side covers and see where that gets us. So there's some form of liquid in the cylinder. I don't know what it is yet. The crankcase is milky, but it's got some viscosity. So there's some oil in there. I think we'll just try and drain everything we can. No bueno on the oil. Oh, there's a lot of water. It's starting to kind of clump out now. This is what we got. It's kind of slowing down. Milky mess. Trying to decide if I want to just try and flush it out or if I want to start breaking into things. I'm pretty sure both sides on a Yamaha are wet. I think. A lot of the Hondas, one side will have your magneto in it. Just got some diesel in this coffee can. And see if we can flush some of the water out. We're gonna put the plug back in it, fill it as full as it'll let us, and let her sit for a minute. tipped it on its side. We're gonna see if we can get some more. Try and fill that whole case anyway. So it's the next day. It's been sitting overnight with diesel in the crankcase. Filled the cylinder full of PB Blaster. We're gonna see if the Kickstarter will kick it over, not get too aggressive. If that doesn't work, we'll go ahead and pull one of these side covers off and try and get on the crank. But see what happens. I'm gonna say it's still frozen. Get the diesel drained out of it, and then I'll get the bolts out of this side cover on the left side. So we're gonna try and knock it loose and see what's behind door number 1. More diesel. Some sludgy junk. What is this? Let's take a look. So in the bottom of this case, just a little sludgy. Otherwise pretty clean. Cleaner than I expected. So we're just gonna go off this crank bolt. It's a 17 mil and I got a 1/2 inch or a 1/2 inch ratchet. We'll just see if we can work it back and forth. Oh, I'm pretty sure that was the threads. Yeah. So game plan here, I've got the impact, it's turned down pretty far, but we're just gonna work it back and forth. It began to start to move, so we'll see. Woo! There's a hard spot, but it moved. All right. Probably yelling because earmuffs. Sweet. I was a little hard on that bolt, but it was worth it. Bad news. Remember how I was saying that I was pretty hard on that crank bolt? Well, it's not a bolt. I'm pretty sure that's the end of the crankshaft. But I decided, well, I'll just spin it around and get all whatever's bound up, loosened up. And I took the impact and was like, I'll just spin it with that. Snapped it clean off. Victory straight to failure. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll just weld that sucker on there or something stupid. I'm not putting a crankshaft in it, I know that much. I will point out, so everybody else doesn't, that I knew this could happen. And I did it anyway, so own fault. So it's about 24 hours since the last scene. And last night, pulled that flywheel off after looking at what we had, and decided to just butcher it together. In reality, I mean, the bike's not worth much, especially if we don't get it running. And I'm not putting a crankshaft in this thing, because it's a lot of work, and it's not a valuable motorcycle. So, we butchered stuff together, and I'll pull you in here and show you what we did. So, this is where we are now. So it snapped about right there. And yes, I did take a bolt and weld it straight to the end of the crankshaft. So, there's a good chance it'll fail. Good chance I heated up some seals that didn't need to be heated up. Probably got some metal shavings in some places they weren't supposed to be. But we're just gonna chance it and hope for the best. So put back together, this thing looks factory. Got the side cover back on, and then this timing chain cover that I pulled off that gained me nothing. I will point out, I ran a stick welder whenever we welded that bolt on there. So you don't have to have a MIG or a TIG or all those other welders that everybody's like, ooh, fancy welder. Yeah. Alright, I got the spark plug laying up against the head with the magneto and everything plugged back in it. Let's see if we got spark. We got it. It sparks. It's time for wheelies. Now, Most likely carburetor than wheelies. Pulled the carb, got it up on the bench. I'm not optimistic based off of the slide. Slide had a bunch of white corrosion on it, so we'll see what the inside of this one looks like. Got some marks. That may be a crack. I don't know how you crack a carburetor. Oof. The choke wouldn't come out, so I just pulled the whole cable and everything. And bad. Good, good. Okay. All right. That's what we're working with, huh? Alright, so about as clean as I'm gonna get it. Still stained, still maybe some flaky corrosion, but we're gonna throw it together anyway. So a couple of issues. This O-ring on the main jet was blown out. I've got these random O-rings from Harbor Freight. Probably definitely not gas resistant, but we're gonna put them in there anyways, just because it's better than that. That looks about right to me. And then there was another one on the choke. So start throwing this thing together. Let's go ahead and put choke on and that intake boot. This choke is a bugger to get out of there. See. Do anything? Oh no. Bad news. Yep. Pulled it clean off. Not the one I was wanting to get out. That's the one. Here's a little piece of solder. Sugar. Alright, so we just got soldering iron, solder, cable, and this pile of solder right here. So we're going to try and make something that resembles a cable end. Heat up this too. I've kind of took and frayed the ends of that just so it has something to bite onto. So after I got the solder all on there, just went over the grinder and buffed it down to where hopefully it fits in this hole. Barely. Yeah, that'll be all right. So I add a spring. Spring on there. Hold on to that. All right, let's try it outside of the car first. Seems to function to me. Fixed. All right, we'll go throw it on the bike. So there's a slot and then a nub on the inside of that. It has to line up for that slide to go in place. So things are kind of just pieced together. It's got fresh oil. Well, it's already had an oil change and it ain't even ran. So filled it up, drained it. It's still kind of cloudy, not bad. But I didn't want anything from the welding to get done in the case. So I kicked it over with just oil, fresh oil in it. And got the carburetor hooked up. When I turned on the gas, it leaked a little, so we're just gonna run what's in the bowl. If it runs. So let's see. Smoking bad. Sounds like it's got a bunch of back pressure the way that. Oh my goodness, how much is leaking? This fuel line is leaking at the petcock. We're just gonna put a zip tie on it and hope that that cures what ails it. The chain is kinked all to heck, and nothing's really bolted down, but I'm gonna go drive it around. Yeah, I didn't really like that. At least the chain didn't. But not bad. Kind of zippy. Oh shoot. Fuel still leaks. Man, I really thought we'd fix that float. Go. I'll probably try and button some stuff up and maybe look into that fuel link. Last I left it, I rushed to ride it around with everything kind of just halfway put together, no seat, just sitting on the frame. And since then we went through and put the plastics that we hadn't had on it since we got the bike back on, a few covers. I did go in, I pulled the car back off, the float wasn't sealing off, and I just tweaked it barely. There's probably some trash that was getting on that needle coming out of the tank, but adjusted the float just a little bit. I doubt it did anything. But the bike seems to be doing really good, especially considering it's underwater at one point. So we'll fire it up, and it seems to run a little bit better too. But good. Went ahead and shut off the bike. I didn't want to gas myself out, but kind of walk around it. I think next steps, just clean it up. I mean, hit it with the pressure washer, get some of those, I don't know, I may try and hit these light spots like this on the tail fin where it's been creased with a heat gun. I've seen some guys do that had pretty decent success, but chain's still all kinked. I keep thinking that right there is gonna just work itself out, and it doesn't. So, Hit her with the pressure washer. It's not perfect. So, I mean, it's still got water, so she looks like she's shiny, but she's not. Those white plastics, they're a little bit stained. Could probably come back with some bleach. I just kind of knocked the heavy stuff off. It also took my number plate off the front, so that was kind of poopy. But cleaned it up pretty well. And the seat, I didn't work real hard on the seat. The vinyl's getting kind of cracky. I'll probably just come back and reupholster it if I go anywhere with it. But probably me and the nephew's gonna go cruise around dirt roads and do some sweet jumps. He's 8. He's got a CRF 70. He's a way better rider than I am. And then it'll either hang around or it'll go somewhere else. But it's been a fun one. Recapping the bike. So TTR 125. I still don't know the year. There's not a sticker on it, and I ain't looked real hard. But bike ride's pretty good. Was underwater. I paid $300 for it, which seems probably a little high, but we got a good bike, I think. Anyways, appreciate you watching. That's it. Forgot to mention we have essentially $0 in parts. Oil. I had it on the shelf, but I don't think we bought anything for the bike specifically. This is a blow dog that barks in all the videos, if anybody's wondering.